Hey boys and girls, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits here, and today I want to do a little overview of the Color Cube series from Xerox. Now the Color Cube series is great when it comes to price per page if you're only including ink costs and page costs. Cost per page is really good. I did the analysis, and the company I work for is saving, seems to be saving thousands of dollars on the cost of this stuff. The cubes are good for the environment too. Now the cubes in these things are just wax cubes. You put them in, you load them in, you close the system, away you go. Your prints are very good, very good. You can tell if you look really closely though. You can tell if you look really closely that it is ink over top of the page. But you have to look really closely, and again, the picture just looks great, and you give it a bit of a nice shine on it. Unfortunately, since it's wax, you can't put the piece of paper through a laminator very well. You put it through a laminator, and the colors wash off, and you end up with a product that looks like it's been on the wall in direct sunlight for 6 months. Other than that, not a bad product, unless you consider some of the problems. Now I've worked with these things for almost a year, and I've worked on multiple models. The 8880, the 8570, and the 8580. I've worked with all those models directly, and I'm telling you, they can be a real handful. The first problem I had was with the first unit I had, the 8880, and as soon as the first blocks were done, I was getting a call. I was getting tickets. I was getting tickets in for the system that wouldn't accept the ink. Well, the blocks. So somehow these blocks are shipped with a code. They're region coded, and of course with region coding that means that if you get something from another region, it's not going to work in your stuff. What's really weird is these things were shipped with European coded color, and when we got North American color, it wouldn't let us use the color because every one of these systems are shipped blank, and then it reads the region from the first cube, and then it knows that that's what it is and it can't be anything else. So ultimately when it got to the North American cubes, it wouldn't work anymore, which was a giant pain. And I'm looking at these cubes after I find this out, and I'm trying to figure out, geez, how do you tell which one's a European and which is a North American? And it just there was nothing different that I could see. Maybe there's something unbelievably small that I missed, but I could not see any difference. So that was a huge issue. Calling up support, trying to figure out what happened. They stepped through it with me, and it was an error number it gave me, and they told me the error number meant that I needed to go into the system and basically reset it from the inside, hard start it. Or maybe it was to upgrade the firmware, to reinstall the firmware, one of those things. That was the first problem I came across, and oh man, the problem just kept coming. I probably get a call for these things about once every 3 months, and I just had to call support, and thank God I got extended support. Definitely, if you're getting these, get extended reports. Anyways, the individuals that come in to repair these things are contractors, and they work for lots of other things, and they tell me that they've had a lot of these calls. And they're definitely a real pain. And they don't particularly like working on them, but they will. It's not the worst thing for them to work on. Anyway, so how these things work is you get wax that gets melted down, and then it gets put into cups. Now the big thing is, if you're going to move one of these things, you turn it off and you leave it off for a half hour, because if you don't, the wax in those cups is going to move, and if you move it, it's going to go onto the drum. If it goes onto the drum, it can get onto gears. If it gets onto gears, it gets real noisy. You may have to call support in. And I've had a lot of these things go bad simply because people moving things around didn't know that this thing was supposed to be off for a half an hour. So if you have janitors that have to move things around every now and then, or hey, you're redecorating, you better know that that thing has to wait a half hour, or else you're going to have a bad time. Anyways, other problems I've had, and I want to say crankshaft, drive shaft, just problems on the inside. There's a lot of little plastic pieces that can break in there, and when they do, you better have extended plan, because if you don't have that extended plan, they're not going to be worth their money. If you do have the extended plan, they will be just fine. So definitely very good for the environment. but maybe not particularly good for your wallet. I usually like having these things out and showing you things as I review them, but it's not a good idea for me to show you these things where I work. I don't have one at home, but I work with these things constantly at my clients' locations. It's just amazing the kind of problems I get with them. But again, they're really good for the environment, so I really hope that the ones coming out in the near future are going to be much better. I hope they're going to figure out what's going on. There's a little bit of history about this. Xerox bought the rights to this ink stick. They didn't make it. They went out and bought it, and then yeah, it's been getting popular in the last few months. So it's good stuff. Make sure you get the extended warranty. But great pictures, the color cube. I just hope you're not the IT guy that has to fix it. Anyways, Nev's Tech Bits. That's it for me. Catch you later. Bye.